Happy Tuesday, my friends. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. I'm your coach, your host, David. I'm playing Humpin right there. TJ Hopkins and Israel Rivera all in the house. Is on today's episode of the Prime. We're going to talk about the Houston Rockets. We're going to talk about Victor Wembanyama. We're going to talk about the Boston Celtics on today's episode of the Prime. So please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. If you like NBA content, we give it to you weekly. So keep an eye out for all that content, including our UFL show yesterday that me and TJ ran as we try to be the number one spot for all things UFL. Keep an eye out.
All things UFL. Hey, guys, before we start the show, I just want to give my thoughts and prayers to everybody that was involved in the Francis Scott Key's bridge collapse that happened. So just want to give a shout out, just give my thoughts and prayers to the families that, I think 6 workers lost their lives in that bridge. So, some things are bigger than sports, and just wanted to.
That video is crazy. If you haven't
yes, absolutely. And very scary. And just like I said, my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone that was involved in that.
But on that note, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. We give you guys basically daily content, and not just about the NBA sports. We also talk about life a little bit here on the Prime. So keep an eye out for all that content. Let's talk about the Houston Rockets, man. They're hitting their stride here. They were really good at the beginning of the season. They kind of fell off, and now they are only. I forgot to look at the standings before I recreated these graphics.
They are a game behind.
They're a game and a half. They're a half game back. They're 9 out of their last 10 games for that final play-in spot. Over the stretch that they've won these 9 out of 10 games, they beat the Suns, Kings, Cavaliers, and Bulls. And Jalen Green has been playing his freaking mind off. He's just been incredible in this stretch. 27 points per game, 51% from the field, 41% from the three. And all of this really comes from this surging of the Rockets is when their best player so far this season, Albert Sengun, is lost for the season with a season-ending injury. I'm not saying there's a correlation between his injury and this recent Rockets play, but it is interesting that he gets hurt and all of a sudden they go on this stretch. What do we make of this stretch for Houston? And do you think that this will result in them making the play-in?
You can argue that it's too little too late. If they come up short, because this is kind of what we expected from them, the entire length of the season. That's why you went out and signed a casted off Dillon Brooks. That's why you paid Fred VanVleet all the money that you paid him. Jalen Green and Sengun turning A Savage up, that was just the icing on the cake.
But Jalen Green, his numbers, if you compare what he did before this stretch to what he's doing right now, it is
he's a different player.
He's got at least 4. I think he had 3 or 4 straight 30-point games during this stretch.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh man, I said it. Didn't I say it last week, a week and a half ago, TJ? Whatever was going on, whatever in his personal life that was going on. I was like, hey, look. And I said, hey, look, man, he's been turning up since people on social media have been talking about, his spouse or whatever the case is.
Because
but he's really been crazy.
Yeah, he been hooping, but it's almost like that. But Loki, and he kind of paid that. He kind of paid tribute to that. He was like, they asked him, let's bring your motivation. He's like, hey man, I got a baby on the way.
His numbers, if you just compare February to March, it is mind blowing. In February, here's his stat. Here's his numbers in February. You ready? 15.8 points per game. He's shooting it 26% from the three-point line, 37% from the field. In the month of March, so far, he's scoring 28 points per game, 13 points more in a 1-month stretch. He's shooting it now. He's shooting it 41% from the three.
I think I
50% from the field.
David, to cut you off, but I think I said that when they were struggling. I said Jalen Green was struggling really bad. Mm-hmm. He was like he was not good at all.
But his numbers are like that. Every month.
Izzy, to your point, when did all that stuff start to go? the rumors about who he was involved with started coming out. Then those rumors got verified, and some not so nice things were being said about the relationship between him and his significant other, giving the age difference between the two of them.
Right.
Then you find out it's a baby's on the way with this person, and now it's all like the stuff that's been said. The stuff that's been said. Let's be honest, it hasn't been positive. Izzy, I'm talking to Izzy because David, you could care less about that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, David doesn't care about that shit.
Like it's like it hasn't been the nicest things said about him, said about her, said about the entire situation. And Jalen Green is almost like, man, like I can't say what I want to say to these people, so I'm gonna just take it. I'm gonna just do the next best thing, and this is what
take it out on the court.
This is what
that's what it seems like.
But also on top of that, Amon Thompson, their first round pick.
Oh, he's been amazing.
So he was banged up for a lot of this season, right? And he finally starts to get back in the fold. He's playing 5 more minutes a night over the last 10 games. He's averaging 7 more points per game. That math may not check out, but if you want to fact check me, that's fine.
He's been amazing.
His numbers across the board, like a lot of the stuff that Houston, when we talk about, like their key players that they needed to contribute this season, have been over the last couple months. It's unfortunate that Alberto Sengun, is not going to play again this season, but they have Jalen Green has been awesome. He was in trade rumors around the trade deadline, and there was conversation about hey, do we want to move off from this guy? And I don't necessarily know if you can do that now. And Ami Udoka also should get a lot of credit for keeping this team engaged. It would have been very easy for this Rockets team to be oh, well, we're just going to next season, whatever, it is what it is. We'll get a lottery pick. But Ami Udoka's no, we need to continue playing hard.
Well, I think the job is kind of, even if they make the play-in, that's pretty much what their
ceiling.
I wouldn't want to say ceiling, but I think it's been an improvement. It's definitely been an improvement.
For sure.
It'd be the job has been well done, right? It's because you added veterans. It's we were talking about this. I've kind of been thinking about this with some of the young teams that are pretty good. We'll see this with the Spurs, right? With Victor Wembanyama, good segue to the next thing. Yeah. But the Spurs, it's okay, they're really good right now. They're not really good now, right? They have a really good, core piece in Victor Wembanyama. It's continue to build around them. And if your young core develops, then you start adding veterans, and then you get into this place where the Houston Rockets is right now, right? Where it's okay, let's try and get our feet wet and get these young guys into the playoffs and get that experience. Now by Jalen Green's what is this, year 3?
This is third full
year
season.
3. By year 4, year 5 for him and Sengun, they should already be, that team should be in the top 6 of the West, top 4, top 5 in the West. That's saying a lot, but you got to think about in the next 2 years, what's LeBron James and the Lakers looking like?
What are the Warriors going to look like?
LA Clippers situation looking like?
Yeah.
What's a lot of these other teams, this Phoenix Suns
we'll talk about the Clippers on another day. I don't have those.
I'm also saying the Warriors.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make a point where it's all these other teams, you don't know what their future is going to look like, as opposed to where the Rockets, you have a nice young nucleus. You got guys
even the Phoenix Suns. Their players are getting up there. They're not a young basketball team either. Their key players are all over 30. I don't know how old Devin Booker is, but he's got to be pushing 25, 26, if not older.
And there's a couple. There's who's the other young dude? Godly for the Rockets that's injured.
Jabari Smith Jr. or Cam Whitmore, who's been a steal.
No. There's another one. There's another. Who's the other guy? The power, kind of power forward, small forward.
Cam Whitmore.
Not Cam Whitmore. No, it's not Cam Whitmore. God, his name is escaping me right now.
Jabari Smith Jr.
Right no,
I have their roster up. Deshaun Tate, Reggie Bullock, who's out of
playing.
Jock Land, it's got to be Cam Whitmore. He's the only guy on their roster.
It's not Cam Whitmore. No, their other guy is injured. God,
you're talking about the kid from LSU.
Yeah, he's got the braids. What the hell's his name? TJ. It's killing me right now that I don't.
They even got the roster up.
He's not out here. I don't know what to tell you.
No, Tari Eason.
Yeah, he's
Tari Eason. Yeah, so Tari Eason, not is another young guy that was playing well early.
Man, he's not even listed on. Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah, he got. I think he's out. I think he might be out for the rest of the year. But he was playing when they were playing well. He was in that rotation, and he's another young guy that is part of that young nucleus. So,
so they found a benign growth on his lower leg, and he had to have it removed. So he's going to be out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So. But yeah, I think the Houston. This is they're probably going to be a play-in team. I mean, I haven't really liked what I see out of Golden State for the last.
Me neither.
Last month or so. So I mean, you go from a team that's been 4-6 to 9-1. This Rockets team is surging. I think they can keep this up, but I think they will be a play-in team. I don't know who falls out, if it's the Warriors or the Lakers, but I would be, if I'm the Warriors and I'm a Warriors fan.
Lakers.
I would be really concerned about my team going on the stretch here.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's well said. I mean, look, I don't. It's not going to be the Lakers. The Lakers aren't going to fall out. The Suns or the Mavericks are not going to fall out.
Yeah, they got a three.
It's going to be the Warriors who have been.
They got a 3-game cushion over the Lakers have a 3-game cushion over the Rockets. I just don't think they'll be able to overcome that.
Yeah, no. In their last 10, the Warriors are 4-6. They're trending downwards. I mean, I think the icing on the cake was just over the weekend where Steve Kerr had sat Steph Curry for X amount of minutes.
Yeah,
while they were up a couple of points, and then they lost the game. It's like every game kind of counts down the stretch, and it's like the Warriors are on that downtrend while the Rockets are moving up. So
to the next topic, Victor Wembanyama, and the argument if he can win Defensive Player of the Year. Izzy, we're going to put you on a timer here in just a minute, but I just want to go through a real quick argument here that I found, a really compelling argument that I found on the internet here. So yeah, he's averaging 3.5 blocks, so basically one more block than anyone else in the NBA right now. He's also averaging 1.3 steals per game. So if you add up his steals and his blocks, which is called stocks, it's one of those crazy analytic stats that people just come up with. He has 115 more stocks than the guy who's the quote unquote front runner for the award, Rudy Gobert. He also, because when Victor Wembanyama blocks shots, he doesn't block them out of bounds. He blocks them and takes it. So he has 66 more recovered blocks plus 37 more steals than Rudy Gobert, which means he's accounted for over 100 extra possessions for the Spurs on offense compared to Rudy Gobert. The Spurs are also 11 points worse on defense when he's not on the floor. He's averaging some insane numbers since the All-Star break, 5 blocks per game, just to say the least. But blocks isn't the end-all, be-all when it comes to this award, DPOY. Given point, only one blocks leader has won the award in the last 13 years. It was Jaren Jackson Jr. last year. And the others out of this, Timberwolves last year.
It was. I think it was. Yeah, was it last year? Yeah.
Timberwolves number 1 defensive rating. The Spurs sit there at a modest 23. Izzy, I'm just gonna set like a 2-minute timer, and I'm.
No, you don't gotta set a 2-minute timer. I really don't have. Look, you don't gotta set no damn 2-minute timer for me, brother. No, look. No, I'll be quick with it, man. Look, Victor Wembanyama. Look, I got a couple points here for.
Oh, maybe I should have started the timer.
TJ will counter them with. I know what he's gonna say. Okay.
I know what you're gonna say.
You know exactly what I'm gonna say. I know what he's gonna say. Okay, so he's putting up his rookie year. He's going to be the first rookie to lead the league in blocks since Manu Bol. That's like 30 plus years.
30 years, yeah.
Since that's
so
happened.
It's got to be longer than 30 years.
Something like that. Okay, I mean early 90s. So that's that right there. That, like you said, blocks doesn't mean. But when you talk about his player efficiency rating, I want to bring up guys. I'm just gonna bring this up. Guys that had played 60 or more games, right? Guys that have played 60 more games. Do you know how many guys? Because TJ is gonna bring up the team thing. Do you know how many Spurs players? Let me just give you a guess. How many other Spurs players are in the top 25 in the player efficiency rating individually that have played 60 or more games? How many other Spurs guys are in there?
Probably one other, maybe Devin Vassell.
2. None.
No, I'm gonna go 1.
None. Zero. How many guys on the Timberwolves are in the top 25 that have played 60 or more games are in the individual defensive player rating? They have the highest individual defensive player rating. How many guys on the Timberwolves?
2. It's probably Anthony.
All five starters.
All
five starters. All 5 starters, including 2 guys that are in the top 3 in Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns. Behind them is Anthony Edwards, Mike Conley, and Jaden McDaniels.
But only one of those guys is favored to win the award.
Only one of those guys is favored to win the award, right? Which is Rudy Gobert. Okay. So when we talk about a team thing, let's put this into perspective. How good defensively is Minnesota all around in terms of top 5, right? In terms of their starting unit. All 5 guys are great. When it comes to the Spurs, there's only one guy that's great defensively on that team. And the fact that when he actually does play, they actually kind of have some type of defensive, wall, right? Because he not only just block shots, he alters shots, and he also, alters the way guys go into the paint. I saw a game the other day where it's like guys would challenge a center, like any other center in the league. They would challenge, maybe outside of Gobert, maybe outside of let's say Embiid. Guys, there's 3 guys, right? They would literally go in there. I'm like, this is gonna be a layup. No, it's a wide open fast break. No, they're gonna pull the ball out, go all the way around, let their guys come out, all because Victor Wembanyama gets down there by the paint, right? So he alters the way guys come into the paint. If that's not presence, the presence of Victor Wembanyama, if that's not presence individually for the defensive player of the year, I don't know what is.
Okay. So opponents. So real quick, opponents. Their attempts at the basket with Rudy Gobert as the closest defender, 52% on Rudy Gobert. Victor Wembanyama, 53%. So there you go.
So like you saying because he alters the shot, every shot blocker alters the shot in some capacity. Get the
not like him. Not like him, CJ. Not like him.
They all alter the shot, and you tell us when
they
he's
don't alter
on
possessions.
When he's on the floor, they have some. They have this wall, and guess what? They still lose with him on, with him off. They still lose. Like this argument of that you said last night. Like, well, look at the supporting cast. We ain't never heard nothing about a defensive player of the year winner supporting cast until the shiny new toy got into the conversation. Joakim Noah won defensive player of the year. I ain't hear a word about the supporting cast around Joakim Noah. Not a word.
Defensive player of the year. Was he leading the top 3 in the West in wins? Was he top 3 in the East in wins? No, he wasn't.
Doesn't matter. They won. They were winning. They had more than 20 wins when he did win.
What were they? What were they when he won defensive player of the year? 50?
Joakim Noah?
Yeah,
talking about. Oh, let me look.
Yeah, the Bulls were like a 5th or a 6th seed. That was when they went against the Nets that first round, right?
Hold on.
It was like 2011, 2012.
Hold down. Let's all stop yelling for just a second.
2014.
Hold on.
They were 48 and 34. They were second in the East. Second in the East without Derrick Rose.
So they were 4th seed in the East because
4th seed. Come on, like that's
I was gonna say second seed. I was gonna be like,
second seed. Second seed in the division. That's what I meant.
Yeah, they're the 4th seed in the West.
4th seed in the East. But like nonetheless, that's still playoffs. That's still not eliminated by Christmas. Like when
we're talking about a rookie that's second.
Nobody has ever won this award on a team that's going to miss the playoffs.
Be for real.
Individually, he's the best. Look. Individually, he's the best. Actually, individually, look. We're only talking about this right here. We go. There you go. There you guys go. Talking about nobody has ever won the award that has been on a team that was not gonna make the playoffs.
At the end of the day, the game is winning.
Not even missed the playoffs. Not even missed the playoffs. We're talking about a team that was eliminated before Christmas.
The name of the game is winning. Izzy, you still gotta win.
I'm trying to tell you, around Rudy Gobert, there are 4 guys in the top 25 in individual.
Why is that a talking point? That's never been a talking point.
Talking about because
it's never been one. You guys never been used.
You guys come back to team wins and losses. When you talk about defensive player,
you gotta be kidding me.
Gobert is not the sole reason why Minnesota is one of the best teams in the West. He's the
sole reason he's the sole reason. He's the sole reason that they're the best defensive team.
Anthony Towns is third in individual defensive PER.
Yeah, I have never heard Anthony Towns be called a good defender. I've never seen Karl Anthony Towns in a DPOY race.
I mean, all of those advanced analytics are just
individually.
All those advanced analytics create talking points for people who've never played basketball. It makes me sick. Again, the supporting cast argument was never brought up for anyone else other than this guy. Never brought up before.
He's going to make
player in the league.
He's going to be first team all defense. He's going to be.
I get
okay, there you go. Thank you. So if he's not DPOY, then he has to be.
He probably won't.
He will be. He should be.
He probably won't be.
He should be.
He probably won't. He probably gets second team. He probably gets second team.
Hold on. Not my bad. Doesn't that negate the fact of if he's first team all defense at the center position?
No, they would just put him something like power forward or something.
Power forward or something.
Rudy Gobert is winning DPOY. I'm sorry.
Rudy Gobert is winning DPOY. Rudy Gobert.
No, he will.
What the media says. Who votes on this? The media.
Everyone, the media.
We're gonna see.
The media votes on this award.
You're talking about individually, he's the best defender, and
hands down.
But bro, he still gets put in the basket. He still gets moved off his spot. All of that stuff. Oh, but he alters shots differently. Every shot blocker alters shots. Rudy Gobert gets dunked on all the time. He's still gonna win DPOY. It's gonna be his fourth. It's like, bro, again, the supporting cast argument is weak.
Okay,
it's weak. It's weak.
Altered possession.
16 wins. That's not the stat. That's a made up stat.
There's a lot of guys.
16 wins.
53%.
Individually,
go up on Rudy Gobert and Wembanyama.
16 wins. 16 wins. 16 wins. 16 wins. That's not the point. 16 wins. 16 wins.
The Spurs as a team have given up
first year.
They're in the bottom five. Bottom five in points allowed.
16 wins. 16 wins.
He's already better than Rudy Gobert.
16 wins. 16 wins.
16 wins. They have a bottom 5 point differential.
It is March. It is the end of March, and they don't have 20 wins.
When he's on the court, it's night and day. Obviously, defensively, that team is not good defensively across the board.
Any shot blocker. That's any shot blocker. Come on, bro.
So, anyways, moving on. Let's talk about the Boston Celtics. Moving on for Victor Wembanyama.
Izzy. I really need you to. Hey, I need that Izzy that was on the triangle. I need that Izzy back. I need the Izzy that standards were up here. I need that Izzy back.
Let's talk about the Boston Celtics. Best record in the NBA, 57-15. I think they've already locked up the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. They have the top point differential with 11.5 points better than any other team they play. They are 11 games better than the second team in the East. They're 7 games better than every team in the Western Conference. Their lineup is stacked. Tatum, Brown, Drew, White, KP. But the big question is, what if this team comes up short again?
What happens to this? And I posed this question in the group chat. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, that's the thing that no one's talking about.
Oh, there are some YouTubers talking about it.
Like when you really think about this, like especially Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum. All Jason Tatum knows is winning since he's been in the NBA. Your rookie year.
Went to Eastern Conference Finals.
You go to the Eastern Conference Finals. You've been to what, 4 or 5 Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
1 Finals. What happened? Like, look, best record, all that good shit. What happens to this team if you come up short again?
I think, like, so looking at their contracts, like looking at their numbers. So I think Jason Tatum is eligible for like a crazy super max extension next offseason. But on top of that, so they're all like in like the repeater tax or like whatever that the second apron that everybody talked about last offseason a little bit. Like they're going to be very hamstrung on what this team can actually do in the future, especially if they extend Jason Tatum, he's going to be getting like $60 million a year at some point in his next deal. So Drew Holiday has a player option for about $40 million a year. I imagine he'll decline that and try to get some long-term money. So there's no guarantee that he's going to be back on this team. There's also no guarantee that like Boston might get to this point, and if they don't like make it to the finals, they're going to take a long, hard look at this Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown pairing and be like, maybe it's run its course, and maybe we need to move off of probably Jaylen Brown, not so much Jason Tatum. There is going to be change on this Boston Celtics team, unless they make the finals. If they lose in the finals, I think they'll run this back.
So like they already gave Jaylen Brown the bag. You still think they move him anyway?
I mean, I think it's because the contract for Jaylen Brown wasn't necessarily about the contract, really. Like it's about securing the asset, and you could do whatever you want with it later, as long as they don't fumble the bag the way the Wizards did or the way the Bulls might do with Zach LaVine. Like securing the asset and then being able to move, like they could get an absolute haul for Jaylen Brown if they wanted to move him this offseason.
They could fleece.
I mean, if they get on the phone with San Antonio, I mean, they can get multiple first-round picks, multiple young players to fill out the rest of this roster. Because you might get to the point where, like, you know what? Maybe we're never going to get over the hump with this core of players, including the best 2 players, but with your best 2 players basically being the same guy.
Yeah, because you got
to some extent.
Because like you got to ask yourself, like the finals against Golden State, like bro, like they had that. That was one. Their inexperience in that moment showed up. Because like if you can't win the championship against that Warriors team playing like that, then maybe you are looking at yourself in the mirror like, hey man, like maybe this ain't it. Like maybe we can't get over the hump. Maybe this variation doesn't work. Because like
this is their. I mean, this lineup is just like unreal. Like you have Al Horford. I didn't even put Al Horford on the list there, but he's coming off your bench. Like he's as good a bench player as there is in the NBA. I mean, they also have Peyton Pritchard, who's been solid for them. Sam Hauser, who's fine. But Jaden Springer, who I like, who doesn't play a lot for this Celtics team, but I do like him.
But like everywhere you look, they got shooting. So when you play them, you got to treat everybody as a shooting threat. And I put that in the group chat. Like I liken them to those early Warriors championship teams. Like they're gonna outshoot you, and that's how they trick you. Like you're gonna try to match them 3 for 3, and you so worried about matching them 3 for 3 that they whole time like they get mid range, they getting layups, and every now and again they get a driving kick and they knock it down. But like you so worried about matching them 3 for 3 that you forget about the other aspects of the game. And the other night against the Bulls, it was a relatively close game, and like the Bulls will cut it to 6. Right, that's as close as they'll get. They'll cut it to 6, and then what'll happen? They'll fall asleep on the rotation, wide open 3, back to 9. But then the Bulls will score at the other end. So like basically what the Bulls messed up was like you're trading 3s for 2s, and you ain't gonna win like that. Not against them.
That's a lot of teams. Look what happened. I mean, look what happened yesterday. They had a 30-point lead on the Atlanta
and
Hawks.
I think last night is kind of the exception. I think last night's kind of the exception.
Definitely. I said it since the month of February. I mean, between February and March, they've only lost 3 games. That's pretty wild. And they've only lost one game so far in March. Well, now two. So now they've lost 4 games. But
I mean, they're 9-1 in their last 10 games. I mean, we're just talking about how the Rockets are surging. Celtics are just.
They're crazy.
It's been a season for 2 months now since it's been a season's worth of surging for the Celtics, right?
Yeah. I mean,
they've really stepped their game up since
they got three victories over 50 points like this season.
So yeah, I mean, I hear what you guys are saying about if they fall short again. I honestly don't see it. Not in this Eastern Conference. I don't think there's a team in the East that can beat this Celtics team in a 7-game series. I just don't see it. The getting Drew Holiday was like in Kristaps Porzingis.
Right, that's who it really is. That's what it really is.
Getting Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis was like the icing on the cake for this team. I think you add 2 great defenders.
Let me ask you something. Do you think if the Milwaukee Bucks had known that Drew Holiday was going to end up on the Boston Celtics, would they have still made that trade?
Yes.
I think.
I don't know.
Oh man,
yes.
You think yes? I think they think about it for a second.
I think they think about it for a long second. I
think they think about it for a second.
If they had known that Drew Holiday had ended up in Boston, I think they'd have second thoughts about making that trade. Yes. They never in a million years. They never in a million years imagined that Drew Holiday would end up in Boston. They never thought that would be a possibility.
It's Derek White too. Like Derek White leads all guards in blocks. Like
maybe he should win DPOY.
He's such a great defender. He's such a great defender. He's such a timely 3-point shooter.
Because here's not to cut you off. Here's the thing. Like Milwaukee made that trade knowing they needed more of an offensive punch because Giannis is he's limited.
Yeah, but him ending up in Boston was like a worst case scenario.
But you also have to know, you kind of have to see that, you didn't expect Boston. I mean, you didn't expect Milwaukee to kind of quote unquote struggle with the addition of Damian Lillard. Not to mention, we ain't finna act like Chris Middleton ain't been in and out.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I think so.
The variation of the variation of Dame, Middleton, and Giannis fully healthy, fully loaded. That scares me a lot more than Drew, Giannis, and Middleton.
But Drew Holiday, it's just a bonus for the Celtics. He doesn't they don't need him to even score.
He's not even scoring. Yeah, he's not even scoring. I think between Tatum, Brown, and Porzingis.
That's kind of the point, though. In Milwaukee, yeah, bro, we need Joe 17.
You're right. No, I get where TJ's coming from.
And I
get where TJ's coming from. He shouldered more of the offensive load as opposed to Boston. He's the luxury where it's like if he does give us 15, I mean, we're definitely definitely win.
And especially with Chris Middleton being injured.
Look at Pacific P. Peyton Pritchard. He's averaging 8 points.
Sam Hauser.
Luke Cornett playing great defense off the bench.
The Cornette challenge. The Cornette challenge.
They have whatever the fuck he does. They have a sick.
That's what it's called. The Cornette challenge.
Whatever he does.
Yeah. I mean, they're shooting it as a team 40% from the 3-point line as a squad.
They take and make the most 3-point shots in the league. Take and make the most.
I mean, the comparison TJ made with those early Celtic or those early Warrior teams, I think that's pretty spot on. I mean, you have the 2 cornerstone pieces, then you kind of added those other pieces on this team, like Drew Holiday's kind of the Andre Iguodala of this team.
The difference is you get those Warriors teams especially that first one, they won.
Yeah,
they won. So you got to win. This means nothing. Best record in the league, the point differential, you blowing people out, you having 350 win, winning by 53 times this season. That means absolutely nothing. If come June, anybody but you is lifting that Larry O'Brien. I
think if they like you guys said earlier, I think if they make the NBA Finals, they lose the NBA Finals, I don't think you have to blow it up at all. You know, I think it's like,
but
we made the NBA finals again.
Some conversations is being had. Some conversations is being had.
But I think the expectation, obviously, this year is to make the NBA finals.
I mean, if they don't make the finals. I mean,
if they don't make the finals, it's kind of a. I even said, I mean, it's kind of a lost season in my, like, Eastern Conference Finals is like.
We're talking.
That's not the goal anymore.
If they do not make the finals, I think like
it's pretty
Joe
much
Mazzulla will probably get fired if they don't make the finals.
It's probably penciled in. It's probably penciled in.
I say that though. I said that though. I didn't say Joe Mazzulla was on the hot seat when we.
He's on. For sure. I mean, anytime you have a team that's this much better than the rest of your conference, and in theory, right, and your team comes up short, they're going to place the blame somewhere. It's not going to be on Jason Tatum. It's not going to be on Jaylen Brown. It's going to be on Joe Mazzulla.
So like, here's the thing, right? So, unfortunately, like, there was really only. And just sticking to the East, there's really only two teams that was penciled in to like kind of challenge Boston for this. And unfortunately, one of them lost their best player, and they're not getting that far without him, right? It was Philly and Milwaukee. Those were really the only two teams realistically that could go up against Boston and like, hey, 7 games, hey, we can beat y'all. Not the Knicks, and I love what the Knicks were doing, but they got injured, they got beat to hell. All too soon. Not Miami.
They got Tom Thibodeau.
Miami. That's a conversation for another day. Because I'm sick of Miami. I'm sick of the lore that they get. Like, they don't even get the free agents that they used to get. But they are like, I'm sick of Miami. That's a conversation for another day. Not Cleveland. Cleveland just don't have enough. They don't. They just don't. And
I think Cleveland does. I just don't think Cleveland can. I think when it comes down to it, man, these guys are shooting it. They shooting the leather off the damn ball. I don't think Cleveland is a much better. When it comes down to playing the Celtics, you have to be able to knock down the 3-point shot. And if you go stretches where you can't knock down the 3-point shot with them, then
and Cleveland cooked.
And Cleveland doesn't have that.
They don't
have the 3-point shooting. They have 3-point shooters. Like, I like Max Strus. I like who's the other kid
Dean
from
Wade.
Ohio State? Dean Wade's another one from Kansas State, but they got the other kid from Ohio State. The other white dude. Other white dude. Godly, what the hell is his name?
Relax.
He said the other
Sam Merrill.
Sam Merrill. He can fill it up. He can shoot. He's a microwave too. He can shoot the 3. But I mean, we're talking about the Celtics. Horford can shoot the 3s. Holiday, Tatum, Brown, White, Hauser, Peyton Pritchard. You know, I don't even think I've seen Luke Cornett shoot a 3, but damn it, he probably can.
He can. He has not shot one. He has actually not shot one this season. But when Luke Cornett was in, I want to say LA 2 years ago, he was shooting the lights out of the basketball. You have. I mean, it comes down to that one thing. It's like, can we be able to hit the 3-point shot? And then we're taking into account how good. I was thinking of somebody else. Luke Cornett cannot shoot.
How good these guys are defensively. All of these guys are great defensively. They can literally shut down your starting 5, your bench. They can. I mean, they are so great and so far ahead of the East in terms of
the real big one. Ain't no punk, especially Peyton Pritchard. Like they ain't no punk. Like
they're not a punk. They don't punk out. No, you're right. They don't punk out.
Ain't no
but
punk.
I think when it comes down to it, their match is gonna be met in the finals, and and honestly, I think the way it's looking, in my opinion, if they face against the Nuggets, that's their match met. That's their match met. That's their match met this season is the Denver Nuggets.
And Denver's beaten them twice.
That is their match met. That is their match met this season. Any other team in the West, I don't even think the Clippers can beat them in the 7-game finals.
Not the way they're looking right now.
Not the way they're playing lately. 4-6. I don't think
OKC's gonna make it. I don't think it's the Nuggets and everybody. I mean, that's the only team I think that can beat the Boston Celtics in a 7-game series. No one else, in my opinion.
I would have faith in the Clippers. Obviously, if they was playing like a little bit better right now, but like on paper, they match up perfectly with Boston.
The Knicks will give them some problems, I think, in my opinion, though. If
Healthy,
they get Julius Randle back,
maybe. But
if they get Julius Randle back, OG Anunoby's come back, after being a little iffy. I think the Knicks, Dante DiVincenzo's been playing great. The way Tom Thibodeau.
Josh Hart.
If you don't get that man, a breather, Gatorade, bro. Like, come on, dog.
Jalen Brunson played under 30. Like, he played 30 minutes the other night. I'm all like, yo, when's the last time that happened? When's the last time he played 30 minutes or less?
When's the last time anyone of the Knicks
the other night, Josh
Hart
played every single minute of the basketball game. There should be a fine set for Thibodeau for doing that type of shit.
But we'll check back in with the Boston Celtics later as the season starts to wind down. Let's talk about Go Talk, and this is going to be our NCAA edition. Obviously, you're not aware of Go Talk. This is where we give the flowers the shine. Some of the guys that didn't necessarily get their flowers /shine while they were in the association or internationally. And TJ's got an NCAA version. Let's go.
All right, so normally when I do this, I include the college that the person went to, and they have to guess the player. This one, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to give you the name and where they went to college and their accolades in college. So player 1 is Adam Morrison, went to Gonzaga from 2003 to 2006, was won the Oscar Robertson Trophy, was a co-player of the year, consensus All-American in 2006, led the country in scoring in 2006, WCC Player of the Year in 2006, first team All-WCC in 2005 and 2006, and was WCC All-Team Freshman in 2004. While at Gonzaga, his last year at Gonzaga, so 2005-2006, he averaged 28, a steal a game, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. He shot 77% from the line, 43% from 3, and played in 36 minutes a game. He left Gonzaga averaging 19, 5, and 2 in 95 games played for Gonzaga.
Man, his
I thought he
season
last year.
Gonzaga.
I thought he was going to get past the Sweet 16. I think they played. Never got past the Sweet 16.
He averaged 28 points a game his last season at Gonzaga. Like that is wow. Like,
and you gotta remember he's all time musty too. All team.
and
no, because the league, because around the league, it's like Adam Morrison smells the worst. Neither here, there. That's just a funny.
And unfortunately, he was on some damn good Gonzaga teams. But that's kind of where the narrative started about Gonzaga. Like, it started with him, like, hey, like, you win in 29, 30 games, but you can't get past the Sweet 16. And he only got there once. He only got to the Sweet 16 once. His freshman year, round of 32. His sophomore year, round of 32. His last year, Sweet 16, got sent home. Player 2 is Frank Mason III. Izzy remembers Frank Mason III very well.
I remember the Angels wonder.
Out of Kansas. I started to go Perry Ellis, but Perry Ellis ain't win shit at Kansas. Like, individually, he ain't win nothing. So Perry Ellis at Kansas. College Player of the Year, 2017. First team All-American, 2017.
You said Perry Ellis?
No, I said Frank Mason.
Okay.
I said Frank Mason III.
Frank Mason. National College Player of the Year. First team All-American. Bob Cousy Award. That's the best point guard in college. Big 12 Player of the Year. First team All-Big 12. 2-time second team All-Big 12. And Big 12 All-Defensive Team in 2016. While he was at Kansas 4 years, he averaged 21, 5, and 4 his last year. Shot 80% from the line, 47 from 3, 49 from the field, and he played in 36 minutes a game. He played 36 minutes a game in 145 career games played for Kansas. He left averaging 13, 4, and 4 for Bill Self. And the furthest he got was Elite Eight, round of 32. So he got to the Elite Eight twice.
So this is pretty easy for me. It's got to be Adam Morrison. I mean, Adam Morrison's numbers are just absurd, and I don't know if it's just because maybe Adam Morrison didn't play with the skill that Kansas had, like obviously
like the level of competition.
Yeah, no, it's not just that. It's not just that. Like Kansas has more talent because they recruit.
Around.
Yeah. So I mean, like Adam Morrison was the best player on those Gonzaga teams by far. When you talk about Frank Mason, you probably he's probably as good as the second best player on that team, and so that's why his numbers aren't as inflated as Adam.
2017, I think Andrew Wiggins might have been on that team.
He might have been.
And Joel Embiid too. That I mean, Joel Embiid would have been on that team too.
Might have. Yeah. But I think because Embiid and Wiggins were teammates, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they were. But I'm gonna go Adam Morrison. His numbers are just absurd, and I know he didn't have necessarily.
Adam Morrison was being compared to Larry Bird, in college, and then when he got to the NBA,
Frank Mason's last year at Kansas, these were his teammates: LeGerald Vick, Devontae Graham, Shvi Mykhailiuk, Josh Jackson, Malik Newman, Udoka Azubuike.
Remember Malik Newman? I was talking about Malik Newman.
Yeah, so and then the year prior, 2015-16, Wayne Selden Jr.
Oh man, I thought Wayne Selden Jr. was going to be
so
good.
So I was talking about Malik
Perry
Newman
Ellis.
a few weeks back. Remember? Hey, TJ, remember I was talking about Malik Newman a few years back? Dude, Malik Newman had a hell of a run to the Elite Eight for that Kansas team. He had a hell of a Big 12 tournament where he was Big 12 conference tournament player, player of the conference or whatever the case is, player.
The only time he played with he played with Wiggins and Embiid, but they were all freshmen.
Player of the tournament.
And they lost in the round of 32.
Malik Newman, that was his last year?
No, that was his first year. That was his first year.
That was Frank Mason's first year or Malik Newman's first year?
Frank Mason's first year. Embiid, and Wiggins, they were all incoming freshmen.
Incoming freshmen. Okay, yeah. So he was. Yeah, man. Hey, Frank Mason was nice, man. I remember Frank Mason. He just wasn't big. I mean, Adam Morrison was 6'8", 6'9" compared to Larry Bird. I gotta go Adam Morrison. And like David said, and like David said, he played with lesser talent at Gonzaga. Now, I do like to say this about Gonzaga, even though they play in the WCC, and they only got to really worry about St. Mary's and
they really don't got to worry about them.
Really, St. Mary's.
I mean, but they play a crazy non-conference schedule.
They play a crazy non-conference schedule.
But what good does it usually?
The number one in the nation.
Good though. It never does them any good. Never, because when it's time, when it's actually time to play.
I mean, the only other player that played in the NBA on that Gonzaga team. Can you name him? Who he is? The only other NBA player, at least on that 05-06 team. The only other player on that Gonzaga team that played in the NBA was who?
You got me. I don't know, man.
He's from Chicago.
Oh, Jeremy Pargo.
Jeremy Pargo, yeah.
Jeremy Pargo.
Let's go.
When you gave from Chicago, Roberson, that was a total giveaway.
I mean, the season before that, he played with Ronnie Turioff. Was interesting in the NBA.
Ronnie Turioff was a solid player. He was a solid player.
For the time of that, for that NBA area, Ronnie Turioff was real solid. It's that's kind of the thing that irked me about Gonzaga. I think the thing, because David, you brought up an interesting point, Adam Morrison was putting up buckets with lesser teammates, but Gonzaga ain't recruiting the same way a Kansas is or a North Carolina. It's kind of they kind of do it to themselves. They're fine with winning 29 games and whooping everybody ass in the WCC or the WAC, wherever it's called now. And so the rumors of them going to the Big 12, that was yes, do that. Finally, play some. I learned nothing about Gonzaga and their players whooping everybody ass in the conference that they in. Go to the Big 12. Get some stop being the big fish in the little pond. It's time.
Well, yeah, no, I mean it's time, but I think when you look at Gonzaga now, we can talk about this, I guess tomorrow when we talk about the Sweet 16. But they've turned into a national, they've turned into a national program because of guys like Adam Morrison. because of the success that Mark Few has had there at Gonzaga. And it's like they're their own entity. They really don't need to go to the ACC or the Big 12. Now they're reeling in McDonald's All-American type of talent now into the program. I think this year has been the only time, and like I said, we can talk about it tomorrow. This year is the only time where it's like this is probably one of Mark Few's, least
successful seasons.
Successful. Like when I want to say his least talented team, like in my opinion. So
but it's like,
they made it to the
but it's like they had a team, but they had a team of 5 stars in the year they went to the national championship, right? Like Jalen Suggs was a 5-star recruit, Chet Holmgren was a 5-star recruit, but when they went up against other 5 stars in Baylor, what happened? It wasn't even close.
I got the next go talk on NCAA. TJ. I got the next go talk next week. What's going to be next week? We should do another 2 weeks because college because the Natty we got the Elite Eight this week.
I'm cool with it. Let's go.
Yeah. We should do this version the next week. I got the next one. I'll pull in some guys that were really good in college.
And on top of that, we got topics for the next one. So we can add the Clippers, we can add the Warriors. So we already got like 3 topics for the next show.
Good stuff.
But thank you very much for checking us out here at the Crossover and Prime Sports World. Tomorrow on the show is going to be breaking down the Sweet 16. If you still have a bracket that's not busted, congratulations.
Everybody's bracket is busted. There's no one with a perfect bracket.
I think I'm in first in Christian's bracket.
You are. Last time I looked.
Yale busted everybody's bracket in my opinion. I think Yale must have Yale and Duquesne.
I had Duquesne. I picked Duquesne. I actually picked Yale.
I actually picked. You know what? I picked Duquesne too, and then I had Illinois. So I had Illinois beat, but Yale. Yale
beating Auburn. I don't know if I had that or not, but I've been David Huffman, Israel Rivera, TJ Hopkins. Thank you very much for joining us here at Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe, and check out the website. Got some good content over there, gentlemen. What do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We bring the heat, ladies and gentlemen. Can't wait for tomorrow. Break it down for you guys, man.
We'll be back here. You guys all have a good night. Stay safe out there.
Look at all these tournament appearances that Gonzaga has.
Hey.